So we're talking to Adam Morgan today about his new book, A Beautiful Constraint. Now Adam, when I met you and interviewed you a number of years ago, you were threatened to write a book all about indigo, and I couldn't help noticing that you've mentioned purple chickens and Virgin and purple decor, Virgin Atlantic I think it was. Can you explain to us why you've written A Beautiful Constraint instead?
So the book, Fugitive Indigo, was going to be the third book. So Eating Big Fish was about strategy, challenger strategy. The second book, Parkinson's, was about culture. Fugitive Indigo was about innovation. The time I set aside to write that book, I had to write the second edition of Eating Big Fish, so I lost my slot. 5 years later, everybody's written a book about innovation, and I thought it's just not interesting to write about innovation anymore. I've got to find an interesting angle on it. Right. So I became much more interested in inventiveness, if you like, and how challengers have to be inventive and do new and interesting things with constraints at their heart. They don't have distribution, they don't have R&D, they don't have consumer insight, they don't have any knowledge of the category. What is it about inventiveness in the face of constraints, or in fact stimulated by constraints, is interesting, and that's what the book is about, and that's why I never wrote the fictional Fugitive Indigo.
What a shame. Okay, and the next question was a little bit of a bootstrapping question, which is simply, having run your consultancy, Eat Big Fish, for the last 15 years, now you're championing the value of constraints. What constraint has been most useful to you over the years?
Well, two constraints, I suppose. One is the constraint of geography. So you've actually got other people doing using your IP in different parts of the world. So it has to be simple, it has to be replicable, it has to be easy to understand. The tools have to be simple and usable. So it's forced a discipline about replicability on us. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a global business any kind of way. Global is a rather grand way of putting it, US and UK, but let's pretend. And the second way I think is kind of interesting, actually, fun enough, is in the writing of the book. So I wrote the book with somebody who's in San Francisco, Mark Barden. He's the co-author. We decided to write everything together rather than alternate chapters. And that meant that he's 8 hours time difference from me. It meant that we need to be really, really disciplined for each chapter about what the key strategic beats and arguments in that chapter were going to be. Otherwise, we'd get all confused. And actually, that has ended up being the summary page at the end of each chapter in the book, because when we circulated that to early kind of readers as a prototype, they liked that summary so much, it's actually become the spine that allows you to read the book in 10 minutes if you want to, rather than the full glorious 14 hours if you want to do the proper thing.
Wow, so you can even say it's a 14-hour read or a 10-minute read.
Exactly, that's the idea.
Lovely touch. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.